In youth, yeah.
Hey, look, we're on.
Oh, I am sunburnt. How's the rest of it? Oh, yes.
Oh, you've been cooked. Holy cow.
That's a good
Turn
one.
the saturation down a little bit, Bree.
They're making me look worse than I am.
Holy smokes.
Welcome to the Mad Skills pregame show. Got another beautiful week. Very nice week this week.
Yeah, it's great. This weather's actually nice for April. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly, a little windy though.
Yeah, today was on the breezy side, but yesterday was glassy. Absolutely stunning. Bluebird sky is made for a hard fishing day, but it was nice to be on the airboat.
It's pretty out there.
Absolutely.
We did good this weekend too, so it's everybody did pretty good this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. We got to bend the rod myself, and that was kind of nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I seen you moseying around.
Yeah.
Seen you poking around. Well, I think it was Saturday. Pretty sure it was Saturday.
I think that's when we fished. Something like that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was pretty cool. Good to see Billy out there getting the rod bent.
How was y'all's week this week? Hopefully y'all went and tight-lined it a little bit. Found some fish out there. Got looks like another beautiful week coming up this week.
Good deal. We could use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
You gonna be out there this weekend?
I believe I am. I actually got it opened up. I'm not working Friday, so
Oh, there you go.
we got an opening on Friday. Have a trip Saturday, and I think Sunday is Easter. So we're gonna hang out at home on Sunday.
That is.
Yep. Don't forget to like, follow, share this feed to all your friends, neighbors, even people you don't like.
Those ones are the best ones.
Especially
Or
them.
the ones that don't like us.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we could use your support. Plus, you get to win something cool.
You never know. Never ever know. Got John over there on the hot mic today.
Yep.
He looks so thrilled.
We gotta get John out. We gotta get John out there fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of these decades.
One of these decades, yeah.
Somebody's got to be here at the office to handle everything that pops up where you guys go have fun.
No.
That's what we have Dari for.
This week.
This week, yeah.
All right, you ready to put this show on the road?
I think so. We'll be right back.
Come join the fastest growing redfish series in the country as they kick off their 2025 season at Seahag Marina in Steinhatchee on January 25th, Panama City February 22nd, Jacksonville March 15th, Panacea April 12th, Cedar Key May 10th, St. Augustine May 31st. Then join us as we crown our champions September 19th and 20th in Steinhatchee at Seahag Marina. For more information, visit our website, flredfishseries.com, or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
It's the same thing.
Welcome to
Fish Talk Live.
presented by some amazing people and businesses, and makes the fishing community go around. I tell you what.
Absolutely.
So tonight we are doing free for all.
Free for all.
Free for all. It's been a little while since we've done a free for all. What is free for all? Free for all is what pretty much we're just kind of free to talk about whatever the hell we want.
No real subject. If you guys got something you want to speak on, we're here to speak on.
That's it. But we want you all to submit some questions. If you have a question about something fishing related, or you know, whatever it is, life, we're here to answer it for you. So, or give our advice on.
Yeah. Take it as you will.
That's it. So it could be anything from, hey guys, I'm going out fishing this weekend. Where should I go? That's what this free for all is for. So ask away, submit those questions. Those that submit free for all questions are only eligible to win tonight's prize, which we have no idea what it is yet. We're going to pick up something good. Looking around right now is a case of expired Mountain Dew. An easy
You just shake it up and you'll get rid of the chunks on the bottom. Be all right.
Run it through a coffee filter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
there
there's
it
nobody
is.
over there.
we just got flashed.
Oh, look at your forehead.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wear a hat.
I did not today for a
Oh, my
reason.
God.
Trying to get rid of my hat line.
Holy smokes.
So, Billy, we went and did some fishing this past weekend.
Yes.
First time you and I fished together in a long time.
Hot minute.
We had an absolute blast. We made both the best worlds with what you do on a daily and what I do, and we took the airboat, and
We went and hit some backcountry stuff.
that was epic.
Absolutely. Playing in like 10 inches of water at max,
Insane redfish.
to say the least.
I mean, it was just, we ran out of bait. Literally ran out of bait.
Yeah.
We had Billy actually snagged a mullet with a
Good jig head.
jig head, just so we had some more bait to throw at him. We brought the boys, JJ and Brody. They ended up getting second place in that fishing
Huge
tournament,
side.
so
Yep.
that was pretty cool.
It was nice to get them boys out there and have some fun, because that they did.
It was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. The more they stomped around the deck, the more the fish moved.
That was a lot of fun. But let's see a recap from everybody's weekend and week of the Extreme Decalz Catch of the Week.
Jeez.
Let's see what you guys submitted and what you caught.
Oh, hey, there's one.
I thought that was John at first. Nice redfish.
No, that's one of mine.
Is that you?
That's, from, I want to say it was from the tournament.
We just need to get a sign put up there at Marrio's spot.
I can't remember exactly where that was. Hey, that's another one of mine.
Good little trout.
Yeah.
That looks like dinner.
Yeah, we got our limit.
And that was
That was
it.
it.
That was
That's it.
That was a good week. Oh, hey, there's
Oh,
one.
there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, I recognize that shirt. I love it.
Very nice snook.
Snookies.
Hold on, go. Can you go back 2 photos, Barry?
Oop,
One more. Nope. Forward. Yeah, right there.
There it is.
I would say just for that photo, let's give them a free shirt of their choice.
I like it. I like
So if you're watching, whichever one,
That's
Ramon submitted this photo. So Ramon, you get a free shirt the next time you come into OKM, because that photo is awesome. I love it.
Ramon. I think it's Ramon. That's what we've been calling him. So.
Nice.
it. Yeah, you can correct us when you see us.
There
We
it is.
apologize, but nice fish. They're playing pretty far inshore with the cedar trees in the back. Good deal.
Way back in the States.
Yeah, hitting some dirty waters.
That almost looked like,
Kinda did.
right?
Kinda did.
Man, they had a stellar day.
They've been using the heck out of that guinea.
those mangroves.
Darren. Oh, I thought those were redfish at first. Man.
Yes.
Big Grovers.
They went and played deep.
Nice cat grouper.
Perfect day to be out there.
Absolutely.
Holy crap.
That must have been yesterday. It was glass. I don't know what day it was, but they found the perfect one for it.
They ended up winning this the series or something in this, I saw.
With a bag limit like that, they had to have placed well.
I'm pretty sure they won some series or
Heck yeah.
look into that.
Good looking red.
GQ. What'd you say?
Yep, it's exactly where we
Yeah.
thought it was. I knew it looked familiar.
There's the boys. That was one of the overslots from that day.
Yeah, we got a good handful
That
of
one,
overslots.
Marrio was 27 1/4.
Oh,
And that was
the
two
heartbreaker.
27 1/4s. And one,
Yep.
that was the 27 1/2.
Yep.
Heartbreakers.
Yep.
Yes.
That one even had a heart on its tail.
Valentine's Day.
That was Brody making sure his
JJ
teammate wasn't going in.
Get strapped in.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, typically we don't do this, but we're trying to help someone out.
Family in need.
Yep, so they are selling their boats. This is a very rare Scandi white 16-foot aluminum tunnel boat with pods on the back.
Pretty slick setup.
Awesome.
Yep.
Test drove it today. I took this photo. I'm not a big fan of John boats, but this one was awesome.
Slick setup.
Yeah, I
Come to
almost.
the marina and check it out.
Yeah, if I had if I didn't have an airboat to do that kind of like the Back Creek stuff, this would be it all day.
That'll get you where you want to go.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
It- I
Tilt
mean,
and
it
trim
was-
and jack plate.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
grew up
sweet
with a
setup
boat similar
too.
to that.
So
Very
Captain
nice.
Jacoby. Yeah.
Love when they get the sun in the background and lights up them fins.
Yeah. I wonder if his cobia photos are in here.
That's another Jacob. I saw that one right after he caught it.
Nice.
He's been killing it, man.
Yeah,
Snook
he's had a
City.
good day on snook.
Is that redfish?
Yeah, good looking fish.
There's
Yep.
a cobia.
Yeah.
Jacob went and played in yesterday's glass water.
Cabio.
He had cobia running everywhere.
If you guys want to get on some cobia right now, hit up Jacob because he went out just to see if they were there. And
Yeah,
They're
he
there.
played for
videos that
hours.
yeah.
It's that time.
Jessica with a nice red.
Teddy.
Teddy
The
Shoop.
green jacket crew.
Choupé. Getting her done.
He's been busy out there.
Oh, yeah. Look at that, man.
That's a beefy trout.
That's a nice trout. Love them trouts.
Definitely a big in there.
Nice red.
Captain Mullet.
That last redfish was almost as red as your face, Billy.
Almost.
So I got the first question: is where to find trout nowadays?
They're there.
Mario, that's on you.
We've been we've been doing a lot of trout fishing still on the inside. Oops, did you forget? Yeah. We're still in the wintertime locations in the backcountry.
Really?
Big creeks, creek mouths, anywhere there's some deep water. Just working baits really slow. It's been working pretty good.
Having those cool mornings, I think, is what's keeping them back there.
Oh yeah, and we've been doing better on low water, like really, really low water. Right when the tide starts to come in, it's probably the first hour of the incoming tides when we've been doing the best. But just slow working baits on the real slow on the bottom, almost dead sticking them, like we talked about a few episodes ago. Working them super slow. That gulp jerk bait is, man, that thing's been fire. But we just work them real slow and low. Light jig head, 1/8 ounce jig head, but look for any potholes that are maybe 3 to 4 feet deeper than the surrounding waters, and they're usually right there on the bottom.
Yeah, their water temperature's still sitting between 70 and
Yeah.
75 right now, so they haven't quite pushed out. They're
They
right
haven't
there on
moved
the
quite out, yeah.
right there on the doorstep.
I've been finding them out there on the reef, but not in any numbers.
Yeah.
Playing out there, I'm drifting at low tides. I may push 1 or 2, but they all look to be top slot or over. Good looking trout, but not in big numbers.
You know what's a trick this time of the year that I learned is follow the manatee.
Yeah.
So like if you find them at the manatee in Fish Creek, you're gonna find trout in Fish Creek. Little Homosassa Bay, same thing.
Same thing with
She's all
snow.
through there.
Yeah. So, but process elimination, this is a weird time right now. They could literally be anywhere, but they're not gone. So, start further back. Let's say start in the creeks or the creek mouths. Work your way out to the river mouths. Then go out to the flats. Then go fish near the channels.
So you'll find them out there. It just takes a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
They're transitioning, so
Yep.
just do any of your transition areas. But I like to start in the creeks on lower water and work my way out as the water comes in. Wherever you can find them, just work your bait slow because the water temp's in the mid to high 70s, so you don't have to work them as slow as you would normally do it in the wintertime. But I like working them super duper slow, especially when they're spawning. Because a lot of the ones that we are catching are full of eggs, and if they're spawning, they're not really thinking about eating that much, so they're not going to chase baits really hard unless they're in very, very large schools. But just slow working baits seems to work really well.
Dead sticking on a drift.
Oh yeah, just find an area with a lot of potholes. Typical trout stuff.
If you catch one, stay there.
Yeah, work that area. Absolutely.
So again, tonight is free for all. So we're kind of going off of your all's questions. So ask away, and to win tonight's prize, you have to ask a free for all question to be eligible to win. So, Bree, there was another photo that you didn't post. I just thought about, but let's go to a commercial break. When we come back, then we'll talk about that photo.
Sounds good. Maybe.
what's going to be impressive, I think, is the hole shot. Like when we get that hole shot stuff dialed in and get the trim command curve all the way up to 100, and we just romp down on this thing, like everybody's going to have a holy shit moment. It's going to be pretty awesome. I've experienced it. It's pretty cool, man.
All right, we are back. That was a message from our friends at Seakeeper Ride. We're going to be setting up a demo day. Actually, we're going to work with Dan Bianchi from Let It Ride Marine and Seakeeper Ride, and he's going to bring his Ranger over here.
Nice.
And we're going to do a big cookout, and so we'll let everybody know the dates. But we're looking at like early June, end of May. So you get to do free test rides with the Seakeeper Ride system.
It's a pretty sweet setup.
All right, so we've got a big fishing tournament, one of the biggest tournaments, and it's actually the 30th anniversary
Yes.
of this tournament.
That one.
Yeah, that one right there. There it is.
Fire. Yay.
The CCBA's 30th annual family fishing tournament. That's April 26th and 27th at the world-famous Macrays of Old Homosassa. This is always a huge turnout. They typically max out at 200 boats. So if you're not registered for this, I do know that they're getting somewhat close. So get registered. There's a scan thing. Nope. Nope.
QR code.
Yep.
Right there in the middle.
And then a little bit over that way. There we go. Some great sponsors as always. So I saw our friend Gary Marriage, Nature
Nice.
Coast Financial Advisor,
Yeah,
is
he's
sponsoring
on
the
there.
tournament. Yeah, and then there's a package for kids to be able to win a awesome little G3 John boat with a Yamaha from Apaca Marine there. So guys, get registered for this tournament, but they did save one entry. So that one entry is going to be given away on the show
It's ours.
next
Oh, no.
Tuesday. And we got our friends from the CCBA that's going to be here live in the studio talking about the event. And we're going to do a post probably towards the end of this week. I'd pay attention like on Friday. And to be eligible to win that free entry, you have to share the post with the CCBA information in it that's going to come from OKM. So make sure to look out for that because that is how you're going to be eligible to win that free entry. So if you want to guarantee your spot, register now. Trust me.
Yep, that's the easiest way.
Yep.
So I got a couple questions, Gary.
All right, let's hear it.
Where can someone purchase the hat on your head?
Right off my head. I got it signed with some sweat stains. So we actually have some hats being made right now. I'll call them tomorrow with an update.
We've been needing that restock. I think we got 2 left on the
Yeah, yeah. Carol Lee came in here today. He's going on a cruise, and he needed a new OKM hat, and he bought one of the pink ones down there. So we'll have some very soon. We got some really cool new stuff coming out too. So check
And
it
then,
out.
how much water does the Seakeeper Ride need to be efficient?
Same.
Just like a
Yeah.
trim tab.
Yeah, just like a trim. I mean, a puddle.
Yeah. Whatever your boat can get on plane in. It's
The-
ready
So you
to
only
use.
need a couple inches.
Yeah,
That's what she
Yeah.
said.
they're actually more effective, in my opinion, in shallower water than they are in deep
What about
water.
sandbars? Can you go over sandbars with them?
Absolutely.
They help you actually. So the cool part is they're shorter, right? So your typical trim tab, your standard trim tab is what
9,
12
10
inches, right?
long, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 12 by 12. These are
Only off the back of the boat about 8 inches.
not
Less
even
than
that.
that,
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe
yeah.
4 inches.
Yeah.
But the curvature and the engineering in them, they displace more water when they're.
Yeah, they're not pushing down. They're actually cupping the water, which is pretty wild.
It's insane.
It's something I would not have thought of.
But like, simple things like when you go to get off plane, you drop down. A trim tab that sticks out 12 inches. When you drop down, your transom drops. The water's climbing on top of it, pushing your transom down even further.
Yep.
So because of the round curvature and then the shorter distance to the transom, my boat sits level when it drops.
It falls flat.
So,
Yeah,
good
going
question.
over sandbars, all that fun stuff, this is not going to, you're not going to affect them per se.
Yeah.
They will affect your boat in positive ways. Pretty
And they
cool.
will not come off. I can promise you that.
No,
I've tested
it'll
it.
take the transom off.
I've tested it. Any other good questions there?
No, that would be it for right now.
All right, so let's go over to the Ayinde Matthews State Farm casting couch, and let's
What
hear
about the airboat report? We usually do that at the beginning, the airboat report.
It's free for all. We're going to mix it up.
There's fish
Man, you're
everywhere.
killing me. Getting off schedule and stuff.
Yeah. All right, so you know what? The census is airboat report. Billy,
Here we are.
what's
Yep.
going on in the airboat?
I mean, airboat world, playing out there at the lower tides is my favorite time. That's why I always mention lower tides. Snook have been schooling up really nice in a lot of the deeper pockets, playing out towards Graymare area, mouth of the St. Martins. Some of your deeper spots in the channels, a lot of spots that people will use for grouper, your springs, cracks, and ledges, they are stacking up in there nicely. Redfish themselves are also in good schools, finding them out on the outer reef, playing in the outer islands. I am not finding them so much on the inner river systems as far as schools. I am finding a lot of individual fish of good quality size. Ooh. Of good quality size, like I said, for trout, seeing those hit or miss out there in the flats. Like Marrio said, I think they're going to be more focused towards the deeper river systems and the deeper pockets in there. But as far as what's been moving around is a lot of sharks. They're coming back quick.
Nice.
Yeah, so the taxman is out there, so do be careful when reeling into redfish in the flats.
Oh yeah, tell them about the story from yesterday.
Yeah,
Or was
found
that today?
That was yesterday, finding the nice tiger shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving the reef area, was heading towards Little Homosassa, crossing the Rock Island Channel. One of my customers and myself had seen a tiger shark, probably about 7 feet in length or so, and had something in its mouth. And I had circled back to try and show the rest of the boat this beautiful tiger shark, and all we could find was a horse sea turtle, just belly up, going down to the bottom. Pretty cool sighting, though. One of those tiger sharks won the battle.
Do you think the turtle ever wins the battle? I don't see it happening.
Yeah, they do outmaneuver them every once in a while, but when they get caught, there's no winning.
Now, if you're seeing bigger fish inside and school fish on the outside, isn't it true that the larger fish move last?
I mean,
Is there
judging
any,
off
like,
of
truth
what we
to that?
fished this weekend in that tournament, there was a lot of big fish still in the backcountry. A lot of overslots back
There was a lot of oversight, but there was also a lot of lower slots too.
There were. It was hard to find that perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you were
was
hitting
tough.
like 18, 19 to 27 plus.
Now I can tell you this though: the last time that I had been back there, there was like the dinosaur, the grandpa redfish.
Getting into your 30s.
Yeah, we never really saw that.
No, we didn't see
There was a few we saw, but not those 34 to 35s we were
Yeah.
catching.
nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
But
And how's the redfish bite on the outer islands?
as far as I've understood, has been stunning.
Yeah.
As far as people playing around the mangroves and actually hitting up those schools, redfish have been on fire for fishing.
I'll touch on that too on my report too.
Yeah, no, it's been really good out there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff moving in. The waters on the outside are warming up in those shallow flats. But playing into deeper areas, they're still pretty cool.
It's almost time to go see my friend Mr. Hammond and get some new bands for my spear sticks.
Yeah.
My fish stick.
Need to do the same.
And I think somebody had a question about cobia in the shallows. Was that? So that's more of a fall.
Yeah, I'm not seeing them per se in the
Yeah.
shallow flats. I'm wanting to say when Jacob was playing, he was probably, 20 foot of water?
Yeah.
Yeah,
out
somewhere
there.
about that area.
Out the shrimp boat. And
Yeah, playing in a little deeper stuff. Also heard word of triple tail, potentially.
Yep, triple tail been being caught out by with the Coochie area, or not with Yankeetown. The markers out there.
I
Barge
did
Canal.
see a stunning snook caught off the barge canal.
Did
On
you?
land.
Really?
Nice.
Yep.
That's a secret.
It's a secret.
Yeah, Mario, cobia, shallow cobia. I mean, you'll get them like trout fishing right now. You'll get the small ones out by the state markers in Homosassa that run past Chaz Point.
Yeah, a little bigger than a Remora is what you'll find out
Yeah,
there.
but and every now and then you'll come across them in the foul area. Definitely not as now this time. Let's say 5 years ago, you could go out to the foul area and you'd find big cobia. Everybody was starting to pile in right now from now to June.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I
haven't
seen that trend in a minute.
Yeah, cobia is a lazy fish. They're gonna, if we have like 3 or 4 days of west wind, consecutive days of west wind, they'll kind of float in. They'll surf in on that west wind, pushes them inshore. You will find them on the shallows, but most of our winds have been north or northeast.
Yeah, I think
here
this
lately.
week's all going to be on the east side.
So they're going to be pushed a little bit further offshore. But if we have 3 or 4 consecutive west wind days, you'll start seeing the cobia inshore, a lot more of them, because they're lazy and they just kind of float around.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Is that why you let the wind just take you where
That's
you?
it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut her down and we'll see where we drift.
What was I gonna say about cobia?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you want
What's a
to
good bait
target,
for
I'll
cobia?
Yeah.
What's a good bait for cobia?
Anything. I mean,
So what you're saying is they're stupid and lazy.
yeah, they really are. Yeah. And until when you think that they're stupid, then that's when they get smart though. No, pinfish. It's such an easy bait to get. A lot of people make the mistake and only float their pinfish for cobia.
Yeah, free
And
line.
you're missing out big time. Cobia will actually act a lot like grouper, and they'll get in ledges. They'll get inside of the caves. The Morningstar shrimp boat, they go inside of that thing. So you're going to want to fish those more mid-column. I like free lining mine. I'll use a small weight, something really small, tied into the loop knot. Try to get it to that lower column area. But I'll always float one as well, but I put it in an area that we're not specifically fishing.
Yep, just let it drift out.
Yeah. So just chum, 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 chum. From what I've noticed is when they get up, to the surface, that's when you can catch them with literally anything.
Yeah.
So blue crabs, that's probably one of the better baits, the smaller blue crabs. Small catfish, eel, yeah, just about anything. But something with a lot of movement, because that's what's going to really
Entice them to get it.
Yeah.
Entice them to eat.
The other thing, too, is don't feel like you have to be quiet for cobia,
You proved that to me one time. We were actually out grouper fishing, and we had seen a cobia, and before we left the spot, he did exactly that and just started stomping the deck. And he goes, I'm going to do this until that fish shows up. And damn, if it didn't show up. It just came to the boat out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And, like you said, stomp around, see what happens.
Yep. Do figure eights around the structure with your boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they'll pop right up into your prop wash.
That, put your troll or your power pole up and down, up and down.
Just let that sloshing noise.
Yep. The zinging noise, all of that, put your trolling motor, put it in high speed, low speed, high speed, put that power pole move to use. And they like the activity. Now they're going to come up. That I always save that towards the end.
Yep.
Because they'll come up curiously, and it seems like they kind of catch on to what you're doing, and then that's when you won't find them again. So that's kind of like the last resort.
Yeah, get them up, get an
last
eye on
hurrah.
it, and then toss something at it. They're not going to hang out for very long, but it's pretty cool that they do that.
Any free-for-all questions, John?
What are the redfish biting on?
All right, so I'd say with that question, let's go ahead and go over to Captain Mario, the casting
The
couch.
follow-up question was a Mario question too.
All right,
Okay,
perfect.
I'll take
We got
both.
I
questions
bet
from
you
Mario.
he's going to answer these questions in one report.
Possibly, yeah. Well, here we are, Ayinde Matthews, State Farm Casting Couch. We got the fishing report going on. What was the question? Redfish
What are
question?
the redfish biting on?
What are the redfish biting on? Right now, we're primarily using live shrimp. That's a go-to here anyways. But they're also biting pretty good on cut mullet and cut ladyfish. Any kind of cut bait works pretty good. Gary showed us a neat way to do your cut mullet last week. I believe it was last week or the week before.
I don't know. Sometimes my weeks blend together.
Yeah, I know.
All times.
You can't tell. But any kind of cut bait works pretty good. Cut pinfish, whatever you have, really. But that live shrimp, it's hard to beat if you can keep the pinfish away from them. But we're fishing around all of the outside islands, like from Chaz Point all the way up to Crystal River. And even on some of the inside islands, just outside of the river systems and the big creeks and stuff like that. We fished inside of Greymare the other day, and we did pretty good. But any of those islands that you see mullet, moving mullet, jumping mullet, they had, active. The more active, the better. Actually, even if you get into a pot of dolphins that they kind of do the same thing, they'll kind of gather around the mullet and tail whack them and make a big mess in mud, and then as soon as they leave, a lot of these redfish and snook come right out of the trees and kind of dig through that mud that they make, and they'll eat just about anything you throw at them. But just find the mullet schools. It's the easiest way to do it. We've got a shirt that says "Follow the mullet," and that's exactly what you do for the redfish. But any of those outside islands, Homosassa, Crystal River, they're going to be loaded up on them. About midway up the incoming tide, all the way up till the time the tide peaks out is probably the best. The higher the tide, the further up under the trees you have to cast. If it's still kind of shallow, you don't have to get it way up under the trees. But your casting accuracy's got to be pretty spot on, and try to stay as far away from the islands as you possibly can, because they do get spooked. They don't like a lot of noise, not like the cobia do.
It was pretty funny. Gary and I were fishing off the airboat. We always hear about how much the airboat disturbs everything.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense we were pushing maybe 100 feet away with the engine running, shut down, watched the fish. When they settled down, they were eating.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious if there's less vibration in the water due to the engine being out of it.
Very well could have, but at the same time, it was low enough to where we were pushing across the bottom. We were back there, and it was pretty cool. Within the first 4 minutes of shutting the airboat down, we were hooking up on fish, and we were before we were using cut mullet, we were running on creek chubs.
Yep.
And they were biting hot and heavy on it. It was working well.
That's also a really good bait for the snook too. This time of year is the big mud minnows, biggest ones you can find.
So if somebody wanted to catch finger mullet, how would they go about that?
Cast net.
Yeah, cast net's your best bet.
I will never fish with finger mullet.
Yeah.
I do not know how to throw a cast net for anything.
I'm finding a lot of finger mullet back in almost like our canal right now, getting back into these little muddy rivers. I know when I leave out of our canal on the airboat tours, I'm pushing probably 2-3 dozen every time I leave out of here. There's definitely a lot of finger mullet back here. Throwing a cast net can be on the tougher side, because a lot of times there's structure right below those fish.
Oh, you've got a show coming up too shortly, don't you? Not this week, but next week?
One more time.
Your show? Is that this
it's
week?
not
Next
this coming
week.
up week. It's the next week. It's the last day of April.
Have you picked a person yet?
Yes. Yeah. I have it booked all the way up through August right now.
Man, you're a super planner.
Yeah.
Who you got this month?
James Kerr.
Oh, all right. That should be interesting.
James.
Kerr.
Yep. Got to pull him away from softball practice. But again, those outside islands for the redfish for sure. The trout bite's been still on fire. Usually mid-April, it starts to die down when the water starts warming up, but we've had a couple of cold fronts. It's kept the water kind of cool, so they're still in their transition areas, deep creeks, big deep creeks or river mouths. St. Martin's River, Fish Creek. We got all those big creeks that are like Rainbow Creek and all the stuff around Crystal River, Salt River. All that stuff's been on fire. It's still pretty good, but just fishing the potholes. Again, with that gulp jerk shad on an 1/8 ounce jig head, drag it super slow in front of your in front of the potholes, and just hop them every now and again, giving them a single hop. It seems to do the trick. There's some big trout out there too. We're getting them a lot of top slots and over slots this past week. So other than that, the snook bite has seemed to be pretty good. They're starting to come back out in the river system, out of the river systems into the open water. I saw a couple of them the other day. Some of the biggest ones that I've seen on the reef. Usually our reef fish, well, we call it the reef. It's out in the outside islands. Usually those fish are going to be slot size or just sub-slot. But there was 3 of them I saw the other day that all 3 of them were pushing mid-40s. They were giants.
Good fish.
And I don't usually see those big ones down here. I usually see them up north, but like in Yankeetown and Cedar Key, but very seldom do I see them on the reef, and I saw a couple of them the other day. So that's a good sign to see those big mamas out there.
Absolutely.
But they're pushing out of the river systems now and getting into their spring and summertime areas. So always have a couple of very large mud minnows in your tank, and that DOA jerkbait, that 5.5, usually does the trick. If you got a boat that can go offshore and sabiki up some thread fins, that'll do it too. They can't say no. It's like M&M's to them snook. But yeah, all 3. I fished for all 3 this week. Yeah, it's on fire. It's one of the best times of the year, mid-April.
You know, Marrio, you're talking about creek chubs. We weren't as blessed to have a bunch of big creek chubs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
And we were having the problem with, if you go through normal spot up through the mouth, the smaller ones are a lot softer, they're immature. They were coming off the hook real fast.
We lost half of them just off the hook. Reel in, there's nothing left of it.
It was frustrating. So, and you know, and it's even worse if you go through the tail.
Mm-hmm.
So what we started doing is we were actually going, what would you say, 2/3?
About 2/3 down the fish.
Yeah, right
just
through the
over
middle of the
spine.
fish.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna start fishing like that more often.
You're able to cast double the distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're head heavy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
chuck
for-
them.
I mean,
chuck them a good
No
good
weight
distance.
whatsoever on little J hooks, and I mean we were able to send it for good distance, a lot further than I expected.
Yep. They had, you know, usually like the bigger mud minnows, the reason why I'll never hook them through the tail is because they always come up to the surface. Those mud minnows, you want them to do exactly how it sounds. You want them to be digging down the mud. And so back there was so shallow. Nice grass, too. The grass was beautiful back in the creeks. So we weren't using jig heads. And plus the jig heads were, you know, double the size of the mud minnows. So we were using smaller hooks. And but yeah, just literally, I guess right below that dorsal fin, right in the middle of the fish, in the hardiest spot that we found. And the action was good. They were still going down, and the redfish loved them. So it was kind of a cool little. If you end up with a bunch of small mud minnows, don't get discouraged. Just hook them right towards the back. Yeah, here's a video here. That was the big one of the day. That was the 27 3/4.
Yeah, just shy of 28.
So, but yeah, that was. You didn't even need the power pole.
No, the boat just sat on the bottom.
Yeah.
Gorgeous day back there.
Yeah, I like fishing back in those areas, but yeah, if you get back there, you're gonna stay there until the tide comes in. So I don't usually do that. But
Yeah, if we weren't in the airboat, it wasn't happening.
Yeah, there was no other way.
there was no way of even
nothing.
getting there, let alone coming out.
When the tide started ripping in the afternoon, then on the way out, we saw a push polar back there.
Yeah, little pulling skiff following the tide.
Yeah.
that's a good one, man.
Look at the size of that toe.
They're yeah,
A little Brody toe.
almost as
big
big as that redfish.
He's good on the film.
Yeah. Except there was one video I saw some middle fingers in. All right. Do we have any more commercials, Bree, or are we going to the... Can't see you.
I don't think she can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know. Gotta say, something that reminded me of last week that happened today, you know, the whole pet peeve thing. Whoever you were, if you watch us or not, you were in a bright green kayak today playing in Head Creek. Thank you. You had a very tall, bright orange flag with bright orange paddles. Thank you. You're all by yourself, and I was able to see you 2 turns ahead before we met each other. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
I almost took a picture for you the other day, Billy. It was for Thursday, whatever day I ran.
Friday.
Friday. I ran both days.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday.
It was Thursday because you were here Friday.
That's right.
So Thursday, I almost took a picture for you, but out by Hangover Island, it must have been some sort of like kayak club or something, and there was over a dozen of them, and they were a dozen wide in the middle of the river, paddling.
There's that pet peeve thing.
Yeah. Luckily, I was in the airboat, so I could keep my distance. But if you're a regular boat, you had no other option.
Going right down the middle of it.
You know,
Here in Florida, every name tells a story. Just saying Ian, Nicole, or Michael brings about strong memories. But then there's Adam and Gary. Together, their teams helped rescue over 3,500 people. And Vicky, she used her food truck to feed the community.
Thank you so much, guys.
And Andy, he flew medical aid to devastated communities. But then there's Shane, Clyde, and Robert. Together, they have more than 60 years of storm experience. They stand with an FPL team of thousands, ready to respond. So as the next storm approaches, just know we're prepared. Here in Florida, every name tells a story, and every name is important. Because together, we can weather any storm.
That'd be cool.
Good idea.
Alrighty, everybody, we're back again. This is Free for All Tuesday. It had more of a tone to it when it was Free for All Friday. So we'll have to think of something different. But we're coming up to the end of the show, so if you have any last-minute questions you want to ask for Free for All, ask them now. Now, remember, in order to win tonight's prize, you had to have asked a Free for All question. So you have asked a Free for All question. You guys are really the only ones that could win. So tonight's question, we were talking about cobia a little bit earlier. What is the minimum length of a cobia that you can keep? And I want specific to that answer.
Yeah, specific.
I want something specific because
I didn't know
there's
it.
a minimum, but it's to a certain point. And I want to know that. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving away a BAJÍO mug, one of the cool little twin or tin mugs.
Or camp
One of these stickers from BAJÍO, a Bubba Buff, and one of my favorite shirts of all time,
Who's that on there?
the Ayinde Matthews State Farm
heck yeah.
shirt. It's such a comfortable shirt. This is a extra large. So if you win, that's what you're getting. The first one to answer the question.
That also asked questions.
Yeah, Bree asked how do we determine the winner. The first one to answer, but you had to have asked a free-for-all question. So John is checking that.
We have a winner.
We have a winner.
We have a wiener.
We have a wiener. Thomas Holiday.
Thomas Holiday.
Wiener, Thomas.
It is not 37 to the fork, Tyler. Or 33 to the fork.
Used to be.
Used to be, yeah. It seems I would always catch those fish like an inch under.
Yeah.
Jacob's fish, early in the week, 35.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So the answer is 36 to the fork of the tail. Boom, right there. That is the answer. So congratulations, Thomas Holiday. You won tonight's prize. Now remember, guys, be on the lookout. What's that? Jimbo? Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, Jimbo. Did you ever hear that story?
Don't think so.
We asked, his name's James.
Wait.
And
Yes, I was here for that. Yes, that was hysterical.
it was, we're like, hey, James, you probably have a lot of nicknames. What's your favorite? And he said Jimbo. And then
What was your least favorite?
Yeah, what's your least favorite? He said Jessica.
Something
right?
like
He said Jessica. It was so funny. All right. So guys, be on the lookout for our CCBA fishing tournament post that we're going to be doing this week. If you share that post, then you are eligible to win that free entry to the CCBA tournament, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then we got our friends from CCBA that's going to be on the show next Tuesday, where we're going to be giving away that prize. So Tune in for that. Thank you very much for watching Fish Talk Live. Thank you to all the sponsors. We got some amazing people out there that support our community, and can't thank you guys enough. So we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.